I have fears around adding my voice to the minutia of this world, especially to the internet. I have fears around adding my voice to the internet because it seems like there's so many voices that exist. And every day there's more and more, and there's so much noise, and everybody's trying to get your attention, and it's overwhelming and overstimulating. And I kind of hate it. And once I start going in that direction with my thoughts, it just gets more and more and more. Hence, what you pay attention to expands. But then I look at the opposite direction and think, yes, but in this minutia of voices, you still somehow tend to find a few that you focus on. And I think over the years of even watching YouTube, there have been definitely a couple of voices that have helped me on my journey and gave me hope and gave me perspective, and sometimes even felt like a friend in uncertain and lonely times. And it's such a valuable thing, and I hope that perhaps I can be a voice like this for some of you. Maybe not even for a long time, but just a way to get from one point to another, or maybe for a long time. Maybe our journeys will be synced for many years to come. And fear is a thing that comes up when you're about to go into the unknown. And I have also been having a lot of fear around money in my life for the most part. I grew up, I was born during the collapse of Soviet Union. So I was not born in post USSR. I was born when it was collapsing during the heaviest time. So I grew up in a lot of poverty and destitution. That wasn't just my story, but it was the collective story of the country I was growing up with. Everyone was going through severely heavy and depressing time where money truly just equaled corruption, because the people that were able to hold on to his wealth during this breakdown of Soviet Union were ones that somehow found a way to play with the collapse of the system. And there was just a lot of criminal activity and a lot of poverty and a lot just depression. It was just depression. And so my family got a chance to come to United States for a better life, for the American dream. And it was such an interesting experience and confusing. It felt incredibly confusing and incredibly isolating to move from this collective mindset of depression and poverty and just feeling completely helpless to United States. Oh, it's fun, actually. It's bringing up tears inside of me as I'm speaking about this still. And as I moved to United States, and I was placed with kids of my own age, I felt no resonance at all with people around me, because kids in the United States grew up with a very different collective story that had nothing to do with my story. And I could not really relate to the experience of kids growing up in the 90s in the United States, which was a time of celebration. And I feel like the 90s was truly like the pinnacle of the American dream, where all of the things, like the gold rush, the immigration, the working hard for the life of privilege, all of that was just like coming to its golden peak in the 90s. Um, versus in Russia, the 90s is when everything just absolutely crumbled, and it was just an absolute tower moment. And so I felt very shut down because I just did not know how to relate to anybody. And funny, as I'm saying this story, this came up for me because I was talking about fear, and I was talking about money, and how money has been this really challenging concept in my life, my whole entire life. And I feel like no matter what I've done, poverty always finds a way to kind of like work itself back into my narrative. And of course, I chose one of the hardest paths to manifest this through, which is being an artist. Artist infamously comes with this cloak of the starving artist mindset. But I have been really unpicking this inside of myself and looking at how much fear there is surrounding being an artist. I had a conversation with my mentor some time ago, and I asked her, what do I do? How do I move forward in life when there is this fear around money within me constantly? Fear of not being able to pay my bills, fear of what do I do next? Like, I have money now, but what happens in 6 months from now? What happens in a year from now? How do I expend my abundance? Because all I can see is like what fear, and I don't know what to do next, and all this stuff comes up. And she said something to me, well, think about your relationship with money up till this point, and think about the fact that you always found a way to make it through. You're still here. And that unlocked something in my brain, just the realization that I really am stuck in my fear, worry of money, instead of just relaxing and understanding that, like, yes, I have always found a way to make it through. Has it been challenging? Sure. Life is always challenging. But the thing is, like, there's something that has got me. God got me. The divine got me. I am here on a purpose. I am here to share my gifts. I am here to share my value. And I am held. So this fear around money is something I'm focusing on, and I need to focus on the fact instead that I've always been able to figure it out. And instead of being worried about what's going to happen next, how I'm going to find money next. Focus instead on you have always been taken care of, and how can I lean deeper into what excites me, my passions, and sharing that, and money will follow. And I even feel like a release of energy when I say that. It feels incredibly true. And also on this topic of fear and on this topic of money, fear will always be present. It's just one of the experiences of being human. And perhaps it's important to define the relationship with fear for yourself instead of trying to eradicate it. Because it's when you're going to be dead, there's going to be no fear. But while you're alive in the human body, part of the human experience is to experience fear and to have a relationship with it, to understand, when does fear come up for me? What does fear mean? What is it a signal of? What is it when a frequency of fear appears? What does that tell me? And so far for myself, what I've been able to deduct is fear is a stopping point. Fear tells me to stop. And to play small. And in my life currently, especially when I'm pursuing the dreams of my art, the dreams of my life, the dreams that have been given to me in this lifetime to pursue, fear comes up when I'm faced with something challenging. And yes, fear is something that lets me know I've reached the known, and I'm about to go into the unknown, and the unknown is pregnant with possibility. And I have to have a very clear, strong mindset to make it to the other side, towards where I want to be. Because when you're in the unknown and you just let your imagination play, a lot of things can come up. But anyway, fear is reaching the unknown. That I think that is the end of my transmission for today. I am learning to speak a little bit more freely. I am learning to speak a little bit more flowy, and I'm just letting it run without putting too much pressure on myself. But yeah, I hope this transmission from my heart unlocked something hopeful in yours. And see you very soon.